next hour this time we'll be playing Put Up or Shut Up, as I mentioned, and Biggie says he finds this to be a difficult game. And every year, of course, the challenge is not to use Thriller or Monster Mash.
I mean, that's a special Halloween day, Halloween game.
Spooktacular. The first year we did it, 20-something years ago, there was a lot of Monster Mash and Thriller. The second year we did it, there was a lot of Monster Mash and Thriller. Chris Demm says, vary it up. So we're trying.
I mean, you sometimes, like a vein of gold or coal will run dry in the ground, or a teat will run dry.
Your teat runs dry. That's right. We've had it happen, of course. So I challenged myself months ago to come up with a Halloween-themed game that did not use all the same songs. We shall see. It happens over and over again.
Now, this is also going to be one of those days where the potential for quote-unquote ruining Spooktacular is very high, because what will happen is you will say leading into the game, now remember, all the questions have to do with Halloween. And the player, it's possible, because it has I've seen it happen before.
Oh, many times.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
But I have seen it happen. The player will not put everything through a Halloween filter. You know what I mean?
Well, yes.
And then you will get mad, and you'll say,
that's right.
I told you.
Yep. It's about
here's a Halloween filter.
So when you're guessing Peaceful Easy Feeling, that is
right.
not, there's no Halloween
Witchy
filter.
Woman.
No. If I ask an Eagles question, the answer is going to be Witchy Woman, isn't it? It's not going to be Peaceful Easy Feeling.
Desperado.
No. Remember, today is
Halloween.
It's Spooktacular.
What's that one they just sing but no instruments?
No.
It's not Seven Bridges Road.
Obviously, I'm going to give you, if the question starts with what Eagles song, just go ahead and say Witchy Woman. All right? Today's Halloween. Yeah. It's Spooktacular.
Just remember that.
I
will try to coach them.
Okay, thank you.
As well.
Thank you.
I can only do so much.
When I say what band, just say Spooky Tooth. All right?
Okay.
That's all right. We're not. Don't.
When we mention Blue Oyster Cult, we think we know which song we're referencing.
Right. Reaper. Give me Don't Fear the Reaper, okay? This is not rocket science here. These are all, there's a clue in every single question. Today is Spooktacular. Don't ruin it like it was ruined in 2004, 7, 9. This
does happen.
All right. When I say Bobby Boris Pickett, you know the answer. I don't mean to ruin Spooktacular even before it's ruined, but that is the case.
But I just want to point out the potential.
I'm glad you did. There is all right, if I say what Michael Jackson song, what you going to say? Thriller. Don't say Beat It. Say Thriller, okay? Don't say Billie
Dirty Diane or something.
No.
What's that one about that's not his kid?
That's right. No. Just remember the day, and you put it through that filter. It's difficult when you're in the crosshairs there, and there's only 2 minutes. That's the thing.
It's true.
Ask Aaron Judge. It gets more difficult when the states
all the lights are on.
When the states get raised, it gets more difficult. There is something to that, isn't there, about being a great playoff performer versus just regular season performer. I mean, some people just thrive on it. Pat Mahomes has not great numbers this year. He wins in crunch time.
You never bet against him in the playoffs.
Never bet against. Even in for him, you look at his numbers, it's like he has more interceptions than touchdowns. They're undefeated. It's incredible the way he just finds a way to figure it out every game at the end.
I mean, in terms of baseball, one of the greatest nicknames ever bestowed upon any player, and it's part of it's personal because he was my favorite, still is my favorite player. Reggie Jackson was Mr. October.
Mr. October.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Of course.
You deliver when your team needs you.
He did something in 77, where he hit 3 home runs in a game against the Dodgers, 3 consecutive pitches. He only saw 3 pitches and hit 3 home runs. He'll always be Mr. October. When Dave Winfield came over to the Yankees and struggled, they called him Mr. May. And that is
the owner called him that.
Yeah, that's a gut punch. What would George Steinbrenner say about Aaron Judge? He's Mr. May.
I don't know.
He is the new Mr. May because he struggled so much in the postseason.
Not to get too into it, but that Juan Soto of the Yankees, many people that I had read, baseball writers, are saying if the Yankees win, it seems way more likely he will stay. Now he says, I may go anywhere.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay him like $700 million. It's like an Ohtani-type contract, they're saying, for Soto. He was great. He was.
Yeah, he's a baller.
He is. He's young.
If you're the Dodgers, talk about a perfect season that paid off. Because the whole thing going in was they just spent $1 billion basically in the offseason. to get Ohtani plus pitching, and look
It
how
worked.
it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
But and wasn't it you saying that Ohtani's paid for himself in all the advertising?
Oh, they
get?
said from Japanese. Alone, they get so many Japanese advertisers, and I mean, they said after year one, the contract's already paid itself.
Listen, I heard they may make a run at Soto. I mean, they will spend whatever. If imagine putting Soto, this is really inside baseball,
Into the Dodger
lineup. Then it's because Freeman's getting older, but for you'll have Ohtani, Freeman, Betts, Soto. I mean, goodness gracious, that is murderer's row, and their bottom of their lineup is good too. They keep on hitting,
and Ohtani didn't hit great.
No, terrible
in the World Series at all.
World Series,
and it's just overlooked because of everything else that happened.
Well, they won.
Yeah,
he got hurt.
That forgives a lot of sins, man.
Oh yeah,
and Judge was so bad too, and Judge made an awful error in the world last night.
He said the quote was, "It'll haunt him for the rest of his life."
I hate that because I do like him.
Yeah,
he's a good guy, but as far as I know, but that is a terrible miss. It was easy. My dad used to call it a can of corn. Yeah. Does anybody know this?
Yeah, I've heard the term.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if they still say. I don't know if I'm going to.
They probably still do.
Yeah.
The old heads.
Well, when I'd miss one in Little League, he'd be like, "That's a can of corn," and I thought, well. I like corn.
I
do. I like corn, Diddy. I'd love a can of corn. We mentioned, why is Donald Trump in a garbage truck? And he did that yesterday in Wisconsin. He held a rally. And the reason was President Biden on a Zoom call called Trump supporters garbage. We have the audio now.
Well, now you got to give the context, because this all started at the MAGA rally Sunday at Madison Square Garden.
The comedian said that Puerto Rico is a floating pile of garbage. That was the joke. He said, "There's a floating pile of garbage in the ocean. It's called Puerto Rico." Made me pucker. Okay,
I think it killed in the room.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
But there was some cringe.
But I said yesterday I would have handled that exactly as Trump did. Trump said, "I didn't book the guy.
I didn't hear the joke. I didn't book the guy."
A lot of people came out and said that is unforgivable. Apparently, he made a lot of other jokes too at the expense.
Well, it was kind of a roast environment.
He's a roast comic. Yeah.
Incidentally, my wife yesterday was watching a documentary on Martha Stewart, and I really got into it. When I came in, she goes, "Do you mind if I keep watching this Martha Stewart documentary?" I said, "Oh,
did you hump and grump?"
Yeah, I said, "Put it on Friends or something." And she's like, "No, I'm really into this Martha Stewart documentary." And I was like, all right. And then I totally got into it. She's my hero. I just really like her.
What just happened here?
I like Martha Stewart. She rebounded. She was in jail, of course, a couple of years or a few months. And when she got out of prison, what really brought her back into the spotlight was a roast of Justin Bieber, where everybody said she was incredible. And she really was funny. I'm sure all the jokes were written for her. But she totally turned around. Nobody expected her to be at a roast, Martha Stewart. She sat next to Snoop Dogg, and she said, "Well, it's high as a kite from contact high, and I was having a great time." And from there, she and Snoop Dogg have become friends, and she's like,
business partners.
Just broke the mold again. My wife says about her,
is this a new documentary?
I guess I don't even know where it was. I think it was on Netflix, and. When she went to prison, I remember a lot of people were real critical of that and said if she were just a regular person, they would never pursue this. And they did say that 95% of people who had done whatever she did.
Was it tax evasion?
It was insider trading.
That's it.
And, she explained it. Martha Stewart explained this by saying she was on a flight somewhere and she stopped. They refueled her plane and she called her friend or broker. And the broker said, "Oh, by the way, such and such stock is losing money. It's her friend's stock." And she goes, "Well, just sell it." I mean, it was as quick as that. It was like 1 minute. And her trusted friend said, "I think you should probably sell this stock." And when she did, it was insider trade. 6 weeks later, they were like, "Oh, you got an inside tip." And she goes, "I don't know what you're talking about. The guy just told her you better sell your stock. That's going to fall." Well, he got it from some insider. What do you do? My wife said, and I agree, what do you do in that situation? If I own stock in McDonald's, for instance, and somebody I know works at McDonald's and calls me.
There's a problem with the onions.
And somebody said, we're not washing our onions.
Look, we just drug a dude into the parking lot. We're trying to roll him over to Arby's, but it ain't working. He's assing himself everywhere.
Sell.
And that's like patient zero.
We're going to have some big issues.
If I sell my McDonald's stock, is that insider trading? I guess it is. Are you supposed to
if you find out you got the call.
Do you just sit there and take it? Is that what you do?
I don't know who. I don't know who defines the insider.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If it's a McDonald's employee who says, "Guy just crapped his pants right here in line," I don't know what's going to come of this. You sell your stock
for extra onions.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, another guy just passed out. This is bad.
You sell your stock 10 days later, they're like, widespread E. coli from McDonald's, the stock plunges. Have I done anything wrong? I don't know. I don't
know the rules. That's right. Way above my pay grade.
That's right. So
what usually happens is someone is going to sign a contract, that will benefit the company or something, and then and typically they're in Congress.
Well, yeah,
they're the ones who get the tips because they know who's going to be signing the contract
early.
They either dump or buy stock.
Well, with Martha Stewart, at the time, I was like, "Oh, put her in jail," this and that.
These rich people.
Now, as I look at it, it's like I don't think she did that much wrong. And they were saying on this documentary, not her, but many others were saying anybody else does this who's not well known, they don't pursue this, and it's a slap on the wrist at best. It is not several months of prison, which she did. And I said to my wife, "Why do you think that is?" And my wife said, "She's a powerful woman that came off as a bitch." I mean, that's what my wife's words. And people didn't like her. People don't like women in power who come off that way. She said, "I bet if a man did that, no big deal." The same thing she did, no big deal. I don't know that for sure, but in watching the documentary, it was friendly to Martha for sure.
Yeah,
and I just like her. She broke the mold, man, 2 or 3 times.
Another documentary changing your feelings about people.
It's a fact.
Look at you.
It's a fact that happens. Bob, you wanted to comment on Martha Stewart. Go ahead.
I believe that she went to jail for lying to the feds during her interview.
I do too, but she didn't know she was lying to the feds.
Boy, you
really
hook, line,
yeah,
and
really sold you.
Watch the documentary.
Were you edibled up like Snoop?
No comment.
It's more complicated.
I'm not going to comment on this.
Yeah, it can't be a phone call like, "Hey, man, I'd sell that."
I was in and out of sleep. I need to watch that entirely. But what she said was, we changed planes. I called in, said, "What's going on?" My investment advisor said, "This stock's getting ready to fall. You're falling. You better sell it." She goes, "All right, sell it." I mean, that was all it was. Now, she might have lied to somebody. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, if that person who works for you, I mean, if you have a stockbroker, that's their job to say, "Hey, such and such is happening."
But many on this documentary, which was pro Martha, said anybody else, it would have blown right over.
Well, I mean, that's the world is full of stories of wealthy people skipping out on prison.
Well,
they don't get prison terms.
Well, definitely.
She did.
But they were saying that they made an example of her because she was a powerful woman with a lot of money. Now, the person that got her into the stock did do insider trading, but she didn't talk to him, and he did more jail time. I mean, he really was in trouble.